Hey, good evening, everybody. It's William Nearot here, the Paradise Guy. Thank you so much for joining me for another edition of Hammock Time. Up here tonight enjoying a cocktail instead of a beer. You know, you got to mix it up once in a while. Get it? Mix it up. Anyways, thank you so much for joining me for another edition of Hammock Time. It is an important episode today because I'm going to talk to you about 6 things that you probably don't realize are going to cost you more than you expected when you come to Mexico. So let's kick it right off and let's get started. First one is, of course, electricity. Yes, when you're here in Mexico and you get that first electric bill, you're always a little bit shocked going, wow, I hardly used any electricity, yet my bill is quite high. Well, it is a challenge here in Mexico. Pretty much everywhere I've been in Mexico, the electricity costs are very high, so you learn to use the air conditioner especially very sparingly. You can keep the windows open, let those cross breezes come through, and of course, during the evening, you can close off whatever bedroom you're sleeping in and turn on the AC for a few hours at night. Many of the air conditioners actually have timers on them, and so it's nice to be able to utilize those to keep your costs down as well. So let's talk about what else is expensive here in Mexico. Well, at least here in the Huatulco area, real estate. Man, I've seen real estate skyrocket in the last year. It's literally gone up, 20, 30% in the last year, and seems like it's going to keep going. So what do you do about this? Do you rush in and buy something right now when the market is going up? No, you never chase a market. I've been in real estate for almost 40 years of my life, and what I realize is that you buy the dips. You buy when the market cools off. You buy when it's a buyer's market. You don't buy when it's a seller's market. And right now, it's definitely a seller's market, especially a developer's market. So be calm. There's a recession that's starting to happen in the United States and Canada. This is obviously going to put some pressure on this market in a downward direction. So I think maybe you got to keep an eye on things right now, see what develops. Of course, Huatulco is not going to get any less popular. So I don't know. I don't have a crystal ball, but if I was going to bet on it, I would say maybe not right now at the height of the frenzy is the best time to buy. So let's move on to something else that's expensive down here that you really wouldn't expect, but when I explain it, I think you'll understand. Apple products. You see, there's no Apple stores in Mexico that I know of. Maybe in Mexico City, but not in the places that I've been recently. There's these iStores, and iStores are authorized resellers of Apple products. So they buy the products, they import the products, they pay duty and fees and whatever that is in stocking expenses. They pay for the retail space that they have to have. They have to have the store lit in a certain way. They have to have the display in a certain way and the signage a certain way. So they incur their costs, but they pass those costs right on to you as a consumer. So I've bought some Apple products here in Mexico, and I'm going to tell you, they are more expensive than what you will pay for them in the States and Canada. So buy them before you come. All right, next thing that may surprise you as well is rental cars. You know, you go out to rent a car, and in Mexico, if you look online, you'll see these astronomically low rates. You'll be like, wow, I can rent a car for $6 a day. No, you can't, because insurance is mandatory. And so when you get to the counter and they say, by the way, insurance is not something that you can elect or decline, you have to buy it, well, then the real surprise happens because the insurance is quite expensive. So be sure to walk into that situation with your eyes wide open. Be sure to deal with reputable companies, and be sure to get quotes in writing before you show up. That is really something that you can use to your advantage, and I think that tip alone is worth the price of watching this video. Next, let's talk about printer ink. Yes, you buy those printers, and printers everywhere in the world, I think, are really, really cheap. You know, they give you the printer practically for free, but they want to charge you a lot for the ink that goes inside that printer. Well, here in Mexico, it's no different. And as a matter of fact, they import a lot of their ink products here, so they pass that expense on to you. So if you buy printer ink here, it is much more expensive than you would expect, and it's hard to find. So what we do is we order our printer ink off of Amazon. It's delivered. It's still not cheap because printer ink is never cheap, but it's a little bit cheaper than you can buy it here in Mexico. So definitely take that advice and pass it on. Last, and certainly not least, is something that, well, If you don't have pets, it really doesn't concern you, but I have a cat and I have dogs, but this pertains to the cat. Clumping kitty litter. Oh my gosh, if you can even find it, it's super expensive. It's like more expensive than filet mignon. It's crazy expensive. And if you have a cat, you understand just how important clumping kitty litter really is. So take that into account if you're going to have a cat down here in Mexico, that you will pay extra for the clumping kitty litter, and food's not so cheap either. So with that, thanks for joining me on this episode of Hammock Time. Always my privilege, always my pleasure to share this information with you. I look forward to seeing you on future videos and meeting you in person sometime soon here in Huatulco. With that, my name is William Narod. I am the Paradise Guy. See you down here soon. Cheers.